It's like prison is, like you said, a taboo.
You know, Tina, what's so perplexing to me is that the government has a captive environment. They have a captive environment with exclusively women in prison, because women are the nurturers of the world. But getting back to the sources, the government has us, and we're captivated. We have to do what they say. So why don't they spend that time on making those women more productive? And why don't they put together, because, you know, they count us for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. They count us because we're considered inventory. And they can't lose their inventory, because if one of us gets away, they lose that income. But, you know, they count us because we're their inventory. They get paid for housing us. Yeah. But they don't take any of that money that they're paid to reinvest into their inventory. You know, but if you have a business and you have your inventory, and that inventory needs to be expanded upon, it needs to be redeveloped, and it needs to be made better, what does a businessman do? He reinvests his money into that inventory. The government does not reinvest their money into the inventory of women in prison. And to me, that's a real heinous thing. They're so greedy that they keep on shoving that money in their pocket, and they can't get enough of it in their pockets. You know, but I remember one Christmas dinner, they served us Cornish hens, and they were back in the unit. That's what was called the unit. They were in the unit, and they were taking shoes, sticking actual tennis shoes underneath their titties to see how many Cornish hens they could get underneath.
Because that's when you hide the stuff under your boobs and right here.
Because they can search you underneath there. They can only go up to this height and down. They couldn't go between your legs.
But the Cornish hen, did it taste different after being in a shoe?
No, we usually wrap it up. Anybody clean or something, you wrap the meat or stuff before you
not
stick
just
it under there. But I don't know, some of them bitches still weren't clean, so I would not do it.
You know, and people are saying, oh, well, we're going to have that. I'm looking at them because I ate really well in the kitchen. You know? I get there, I always cook my own breakfast every morning, and I cook Tina breakfast, and I cook lunch for myself. I cook Tina lunch, and, you know, we didn't have to eat the bad, you know. Sometimes the things were so bad that even